Where do you want me to tape it? Like to the shirt, right? Test 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Okay, folks, make sure you're sitting in a blue marked chair. If the back is not marked blue, you may not sit in it. Does anyone's nose itch when they take their mask off? It makes my nose itch. It's like, it does make you feel hot, doesn't it? Are we streaming live right now? Okay. So this class starts at what time? Anybody have a schedule on them?
I think it's at 10, because our last one ended at 9:55 and it's 9:58.
Okay. Sit in a blue chair, please, seniors. Spread out. There's plenty of seats on this side. There's plenty of seats down here. Blue tape. Find a blue tape on a chair. Everybody got really quiet. This thing was working earlier, but it doesn't seem to want to work now. There we go. Can y'all see that? Okay. Good deal. All right. Is it 10 o'clock yet? Yes. It is. Good. Welcome back. Good to see you. I can't tell you what it did for my heart to see you guys show up. It has been 5 months. And can I just tell you, normally it's 3 months before you see you guys. So particularly for our freshmen and sophomores, when we haven't seen you for 5 months and then you walk in and you're wearing a mask, it's like, who are you? Because, people change and you're growing, you're changing, all those kind of things. And I'm going, wow, I really am struggling to recognize some of our younger. So we have seniors in here, and all of our other students are in their classrooms, and they're streaming live. And this is something we need to get used to, because this is how we'll do chapel. There'll only be one grade in here at a time, so that we can, maintain the distancing you have now. And so we'll rotate that. Praise team will be in here during our activity period, and chapel this year will be on Tuesdays. So Tuesday will be chapel. But we will, praise team will lead, we'll have one in here, and then everyone else will be in their classrooms or in their advisory groups. So this is going to be the new normal, and we'll learn to get through it. But I'm glad to see you, seniors. I'm so proud of you. You already have led well, and I know you will continue to do that. And so we're going to go through some things. There are a lot of things we need to cover, a lot more than we normally do. And so I want to be conscious of our time, but as usual, I want to open us up in prayer. Can we pray together, please? All right? Father, we're grateful today for these amazing students, Father, for the opportunity we as teachers have been praying for and longing for some time, and that's to do what you have called us to do well, and Father, to be with these amazing students who we love and you love. They're fearfully and wonderfully made in your image. They belong to you. You love them more than we could even imagine. And so, Father, we are here today to honor our calling and to prepare for the calling that you have for each of us. Be with us in this assembly time in Jesus' name. And everybody said, amen. Okay, so some legacy by the numbers a little bit. Some new things for you. So it's been 160 days since we've been together. Okay, 160 days. 6.9% of students are new to Legacy this year. We actually have more students this year than we have last year. Okay, almost 60% more new students. You can see the totals there by grade. Our largest class is and those class numbers are not right. I should have edited them, but the top is the senior group. So the largest is actually the juniors, and then sophomores and freshmen. Okay, and the number of new students, that is correct on the side. Seniors at the top, freshmen at the bottom. We have 6 new instructional staff. 14 students that are starting in flex, okay, which is less than 5%-ish. okay? And there's one student in online, and that is Steve. Steve is still in China, they have some challenges there, as you can imagine, but our hearts are with Steve, who recently gave his heart to the Lord, and he's just growing like crazy, and he's going to be used by God there in China, so we want to continue to pray for him. All right? Next thing. The clicker is here with me. So what's new? Well, a lot's new, right? It's a new normal, as they would say. Well, we do have some new instructional staff. Mr. Bell, if you get to meet him, that is Dr. Joy Bell, our new middle school principal's husband. We actually hired him, and then later on, Dr. Bell came on. He's teaching history and English. Miss Drygas is teaching sophomore English. She's new this year as well. They just moved here from Atlanta. Miss Via Vicencio, she's been here before. How many of you, anybody here taught by Miss V? Yeah, so we're glad to have Miss V back. They've moved back from South Florida, and they're here. And so she's doing Spanish. Mr. Dibley is teaching geometry and servant leadership. So he's over here with us in the high school. Miss Ehim, and that's pronounced with an E. It's not Ihim, it's Ehim. Okay? Miss Ehim is teaching Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. She comes to us from the Arlington area, basically. She's been teaching there at Duncanville. And then Coach Magers, she was just recently hired, our new girls basketball coach. I can't wait for you to meet her. But she is new as well. So we're excited about these new folks. So some new classes offered. We've added psychology this year, principles of applied engineering, a medical terminology class. We have a lead legacy blended class. So if you're in lead legacy, there's actually a really small class that you'll be doing, and Mr. Weaver will be explaining that to you. You do get credit. It appears on your transcript. It's a pass-fail, low pressure, but it is something you're required to do to remain in lead legacy, so that's new. Kind of an offline, what we call a blended class. You meet every once in a while, but not very often. Right? Some other new things is Schoology is king now. Okay? Everything is done in Schoology. So, you know, you used to have to go to RenWeb to check your homework and get, what's coming up in the lesson plans and look at your grades, and that's not true anymore. Everything now is in Schoology. It's a one-stop shop. You can look at a calendar on the right, and you can see all of your due dates, the lesson plans of the teacher. It's all right there for you. We have streamlined it all. And so Schoology is where you really need to concentrate and be diligent in checking on a regular basis, okay? Off-campus permission has been expanded. So if you're a junior or a senior and you have a study hall, you have a capstone, or you are in an online class like a Laterno class or something like that, you have the option to leave campus during those times, okay? In order to do that, juniors and seniors, you must first have your parents complete the online off-campus form. Now, that has been in the last 2 or 3 emails I've sent out to your parents. You encourage your parents to read those emails. A lot of times we copy them to you, but your parents have to fill that out. And when it's time for you to go, all you do is walk and sign up and check the box. There'll be a sheet at the front office with Ms. Sopp. You check that box, you're going out, and you check the box coming back in. All right? Let me just take some time to remind you that is a privilege, and it's assuming that you're going to do some things. Okay? It's assuming you're still going to get your work done. Okay? It's also going to make the assumption that you are going to be back on time. You're not going to be late to your next class. Okay? And it's also going to make the assumption that you're still going to be smart in terms of what you're doing when you're off campus, and that's true whether you're off for a study hall or you're just, on a weekend. You're being smart with what you do in terms of staying safe, all right, and following the protocols that we have in place. So there's just some assumptions in place there that you need to make sure you follow. If you have trouble following those, we're going to talk to you about it. So here's how I like to approach things in upper school, and that is basically we're going to trust you till you give us a reason not to. And that's like treating you like you want to be, moving toward being treated as an adult. It's not middle school. It's not lower school. For such a time as these, they do the things the way they do them. In upper school, we're going to trust you until you give us a reason not to. And the more trust you have, the more freedom you have, but also the more responsibility. So if we give you this freedom and this opportunity, and you abuse it, you can't get back on time. Teachers are always tracking you down, or you're not using your time wisely. You're getting behind in Laterno studies. Those type things begin to happen if you're not showing back here for activity period. If you're skipping activity period, you're skipping chapel because you had study hall before or after. That's not good. We're going to call you in. We're going to talk to you about it. And then very soon after that, we said, I'm sorry, that privilege has been removed. You must stay here all day. And I know that's not going to happen because I know how much you're going to value it. Right? You can go home. You can get together with someone and go sit outside at Starbucks or whatever, and work on your work if you want to do that. It's up to you. It's between you and your parents. You're not our responsibility when you do that. Okay? Once you sign up and walk out that door, you are on your own. And parents know that, and that's what the form talks about. Okay? But that's a cool thing. No formal dress this year. No coat, no tie, no anything like that. Really? Nothing? No clap, no yay, no, nothing? Really? Okay, yeah, thank you. It's probably coming back, I'm just telling you, but for this year, that is not the case. And of course, we have a new schedule, a 4-campus schedule. We said, well, why are we doing that, Mr. Mosley? Well, we got a group of students, some of our student leaders, parents, and teachers together, and we said, how are we going to manage this situation that COVID has placed us in? And the best way to manage it, we felt, was to create continuity. Okay, we've created more classes. Our teachers are teaching more than they've ever taught. They're also having to coordinate because they can't teach all of one subject, so they have somebody else teaching the same subject with them. So there's more collaboration and things that are needed. And they're teaching kids that are in class, kids that are at home learning. And so it's challenging for our teachers. And our students and our parents said, hey, how can we help? How can we do this? Well, if we could have a day on Wednesday, and when we went to distance learning, that's the schedule we had. Monday, Tuesday, you worked independently on Wednesday. Everybody remember that? So if we have to go in and out of distance learning, it provided a consistent planning platform for our teachers. And, I was so proud of our student leaders particularly. And there were some of them that said, look, it's just going to be challenging for me coming back and forth. I drive a long ways, all those kind of things. But, if it's what our teachers need to teach us well, they're our heroes, and if we can help them, this is something we want to do. And a lot of them said, look, I'd really prefer to be here. I miss school. I'd prefer to be here every day, and I get it. But they were saying, look, whatever works best for our teachers is what we need to do, because if the teachers are doing their job well, then I am learning better. And I was very proud of your peers who were in that task force, who recognized that and were willing to support our teachers in that way. So Wednesdays is still a work day, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But these are the reasons why we ended up choosing a 4-day on-campus model. You're still learning all 5 days, but 4 days on campus. So this is what the schedule looks like. So on the screen you can see we have a green day or A day. It's a block schedule. And then periods 5 through 8, 1 through 4 on an A or green day. We call it green day. Periods 5 through 8 are gold day. Wednesday is not on campus. And then we have A and B days here. Now, there are some times, like, for instance, we have a Monday holiday, or we have a professional development day, and you don't have class on Friday or something like that. Then we will take up, this Wednesday will be taken up, we'll slide one of those days over. But you're going to have 2 class periods a week for every subject. You can just count on it, okay, all the way through the year, all right? So if we're in distance learning or not, you can count on 2. You're going to see each teacher twice a week, okay? Now, the periods are longer. So it's the same amount of time in class. It's the same amount of instructional time. The difference is that we have longer periods. So rather than 70-minute periods, the periods are 80-minute. A lot of block classes are 90 minutes. Your friends probably in Frisco know they're probably 90-minute blocks. But we're doing 80-minute blocks. Okay, so you want to use that time wisely. And then on Wednesdays, you can come up on Wednesday. If you're a freshman and you say, look, both of my parents work, they're not comfortable being home, you can come up on Wednesday. You had to let us know that on a form, okay? You can show up on Wednesday and be here and do your independent study here. You're going to be assigned 15 to 20 minutes worth of work for every academic class you have. So if you have 6 academic classes, okay, you do the math on that, that's about 2 hours of work. And it will be done asynchronously. You can do it any time during that day. But you may have something to turn in at the end of the day. So you need to be ready for that. Okay, it's not an off day. It's an independent learning, guided practice kind of thing that you do at home or you do here if you choose to show up. If you show up, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to be in the Learning Commons in a quiet place where you can get your work done. Okay? Now, if, for instance, you say, well, I just really need to meet with my teacher, Mr. Mosley. When am I going to be able to do that? Well, teachers are going to have published office hours for you, but all of them have 3 hours of time on Wednesday. Okay? And for the most part, it's between 11 and 12 and like 2 o'clock to 3:30, 4 o'clock, 1:30 to 3:30, somewhere in there. But some of them, the schedules are a little bit different if they're coaches or whatever. But they have 3 hours of time there. They also have other times during the day, okay, that you may be able to check in with them. And you can do that tutoring time via Zoom, via Google Meet, or you can show up to campus if you have an appointment, but you need to make an appointment with our teachers for tutoring time. Okay, make an appointment for that. Get used to it. When you get to college, they have the same thing. They call them office hours or tutoring hours, and you'll have to schedule those with the graduate assistant or whoever. Okay, in the afternoon, if you're in Lead Legacy or NHS or something like that, we may have some meetings at that time that you have to come up at the end of the day, and we're putting that right up against the athletic period. So the task force said, most of our students are involved in some kind of sport. It's usually 75 to 80% of us are involved in some sport at some time, and they're practicing in the afternoon. So if we need to do those meetings, we'll make them right before. So they'll be the last part of the day. You come to the meeting, and then you go to your athletics. Okay? So that's the general look here of how we do it. All athletic periods have been moved to the end of the day. Notice here we have 2 lunches. We're not able to do lunch all together like we have in the past. I'm sorry. We just can't do it. We don't have the capacity. We would be violating our social and physical distancing guidelines. And so that's one of the things we're going to have to deal with. It's one of the sacrifices we make to be here. And we all want to be here. I know that. Okay? Even our students who are in flex, they still want to be here. And they maybe will be joining us down the road. Okay? But in order to do that, we have to change some things. So for the short term, we're in level 3 concern right now. We have the levels 1 through 4 in our plan. We're in a level 3 concern, which is second highest. Level 4 means we're not here. A level 4 concern means we're in distance learning. Okay, so we're as close to that as we can possibly be. That's why you have to wear a mask all the time. If we drop down to a level 2, then the mask, when you sit down in your classroom, you'll be able to take your mask off. But we're not there yet. Okay? The governor has said we must wear a mask, so we're gonna do that. Okay, when that level comes down, and when people around us start doing what we need to do, and we get a hold on this thing a little bit, and we're gonna win this thing. You hear me? We're gonna win it. There's hope. I just don't know when it's going to be, but we're fighting a battle, and we're gonna win that battle, and we're fighting it here to be able to stay here. Okay, and we may lose a battle here and there, but eventually we want to win the war and be here as much as we possibly can, all right? So we had to split lunch up, folks. So we have what's called a first lunch and a split lunch. And lunch is tied to 3rd and 7th periods, depending if it's a green day or a gold day. Okay, so what happens is today, when you finish your 2nd period, you will go to your 3rd period, because it's a green day, right? Green day. You'll go to your 3rd period, and that's where you eat lunch. And because we're in a level 3 alert, for now, that means everyone has to eat lunch in the room. No one can go to the lunch commons, all right? You can go down there to get food. You can go down there to heat something up. There's also microwaves throughout the building, okay? But you cannot remain in the lunch commons right now. Now, our plan is, just so you know, Mr. Mosley knows that's challenging because you need that time. You need time to be with your friends. We know that. But it's one of the sacrifices we have to do in the short term. I've got to have some time, folks, to analyze how the flow goes, how we get in and out, if we're going to be smart about social distancing, how many people are going to be down there at each lunch. I have planned for us to be able to eventually allow you to go in groups. So in first lunch, I've divided all the classes who have first lunch into 4 groups. And you can have first lunch 1, first lunch 2, first lunch 3, first lunch 4. There's one for every day we're here. And so once a week, you'll get the opportunity to go down there and eat. until our concern level begins to drop. So if I can just hang on, it won't be next week, but maybe as early as Monday the following week, once I analyze things and see how things are going, we'll be able to let you come in groups so you get to do it at least once a week. If you bring your lunch, that's great. You don't have to leave the room. But if you need to go down and get lunch, there's 2 lines now. You walk in, it's grab and go. It's a lot quicker. You're in and out, and you need to go directly back to your room. Okay, can't hang out. Nobody's sitting at the tables. You got to go right back to your room to eat. Okay? If you have split lunch today, then you're actually going to work in your class for about 45 minutes, and then you're going to take a break and go to lunch. Not go to lunch, but go get your lunch and come back and sit in the room, eat, and then finish the class. Okay? You say, well, why don't we just wait to the end of the period? Well, what do? We made the periods what? Longer, so the first lunch and second lunch is way apart, and the food gets bad. Can't wait that long, okay? So that's why you have split lunch. So what happens here is, maybe second semester we flip those. So if you had split lunch first semester, we'll flip that class and maybe let you do the other one the second semester, okay? Activity period. This is this period we're in right now. It's for assemblies. Generally speaking, this is the schedule, though it changes a little bit. But Lead Legacy and Study Halls on Monday, Chapel on Tuesday, Professional Schools and Freshman Forum on Thursday, and Advisory on Friday. That's the general pattern. It can vary a little bit. Okay, listen to the announcements. Okay, those will be coming most of the time via video like today. Livia did a great job, okay, on the video today. So if you are in Flex or you are in Study Hall first period and you're not in the room when we play the announcements, it is in Schoology. You can pull it up and look at it. You're responsible for that information. We're trying to communicate with you, and you've got to pay attention, okay? All right, LPAC. When you come to the LPAC like today, do not bring your backpack. Leave it in the room, okay? Leave it in the room. And if we do eventually start going back to lunch, leave the backpacks in the room, okay? And then go get your stuff, okay? It's a purpose time. Activity period is no freelance. We're not going to have the opportunity in Study Hall that you can just go wherever you want. We can't do that this year. So if you're in Study Hall and you didn't leave campus, in other words, you're a freshman or a sophomore in Study Hall, all the Study Halls except for 3rd and 7th period are in the Commons, and you must remain in the Commons. Okay? We have these shields coming, these dividers. There's only 4 seats at a table. You're not allowed to move chairs under no circumstances. And the dividers are there so that when we're eating, you can take your mask off and it provides some protection. Okay? That's the reason we have the plexiglass. It's going to be on every table in there eventually. Okay? So we got to win the battle. How do we do this? We're at war, as some of our politicians say, with the invisible enemy, right? Things like 0.2 microns big. Very, very small. Okay, it's invisible and it's serious. Now, it's not as serious to some of us as it is to others, but you don't know who those people are. And can I just tell you, you have peers who are at a higher risk, and you have faculty and administrators who are at a higher risk. You think, oh, it's not going to affect me. That's a lie from the pit of hell, okay? It will affect people you know and love if it doesn't have a tremendous effect on you. This is no game we're playing here. This is real. I'm not trying to scare you. I don't believe in that. Scripture says, God did not give us a spirit of timidity or fear, but one of a sound mind. Okay? But it does mean that you can't be careless. We all, if we value this, we all have to cherish it and take it seriously. Not only when you're on this campus, but also when you are off campus. Follow the guidelines that the governor has laid out. Be smart. It's not just you at risk. Now listen, you can do everything right and still contract the coronavirus. So it's not this situation where if you happen to be, get positive, that, you're wearing a scarlet C walking around, on your chest. That doesn't mean that person's bad or they did anything wrong. That's not what I'm saying either. But what I am saying is we've got to be smart for your sake and for everyone else's sake. So these are the things you got to do. Physical distancing. And I know, man, it was hard this morning. I saw you. It's when you want to come up close and talk to your friend. I saw a couple hugs, and I'm just going, ah. We can't do that, folks. 6 feet. If you're in the cafeteria, each one of those squares is a foot by foot. You got to have 5 of those squares between you and the next person at all times. When you're walking down the hall, it's not perfect. It's temporary. You walk by, you're going to go past some people, but if you can stay behind that next person, that's a good thing. If you have to sneeze or cough, and that's just part of living, do it into your sleeve, even if you have a mask on. Okay? Wash your hands. Sanitize. We got sanitizers all over the building. Sanitize your hands. And by the way, those ones in the classroom, if you stick one hand in there, it's going to fill it up and roll over. I mean, I don't know why it puts so much hand sanitizer, but it's like crazy. It's like pouring a pitcher of hand sanitizer. So please use 2 hands because it's going everywhere, okay? I don't know. There's no adjustment on it. We can't change it. It just goes right there. So 2 hands when you use them because it's crazy the amount it puts out. But be sure you do that. Avoid handshakes, fist bumps, maybe an elbow, but even you got to get within 6 feet to do that. So it's kind of crazy, and I'm guilty, man. It's hard. It's just so hard. But let's remember what's at stake. Okay. If someone gets positive and they don't know it, and we will do contact tracing, but because we mix classes, if you are in a room for more than 15 minutes with one person, so if one person in this room was positive and they didn't know it, every one of us in this room right now, we're in here for more than 15 minutes, will be contact traced. And you will have to stay home. We all will have to stay home, teachers included. Do you see how quickly this can shut us down and put us in distance learning? And guys, listen, it's going to happen. And we're going to be okay. If we have to do distance learning, for a couple weeks, and when we come back, we'll do it. It's going to be okay. All right? But I want you to understand what's at stake here. Okay? And we're going to win it. We're going to win the battle. So the strategy is, we're going to check your temperature when you come in. You got to use hand sanitizer. We have limits in the bathroom. So there are signs out there, and some of them haven't put the capacity on it. You do not need to have more than 2 or 3 in a restroom at a time. So if you walk in, you see a lot of people, you back out and you wait. Close spaces for long periods of time is what you're trying to avoid, okay? We've created more classes. We have a smaller number of students in each class. The desks are spread out. We're live streaming meetings like this. We have 2 lunches. Sage now they're going to be doing a touchless thing. You're eventually going to get a card and lanyards that you can have that has a card, not a card reader, but a scanning code. That when you need to check out, you don't have to touch anything. They just scan your card. So it's touchless when we walk out. That's where we're trying to go with our lunchroom. Okay. We have break in room, so we have afternoon breaks. Yes, we still have the break. So you leave 3rd period, you go to 4th period, and you sit down in the room, and that's where your break is. We'll give you time. It's 15 minutes. You don't have to do anything. Pull out, look on your computer. You cannot pull out your phones. Phone room is still the same. No phones between 8:30 and 3:30. Okay? But you can get on your computer, listen to music, those kind of things if you want to do that during that time. If you say, well, what about getting a snack or something to drink during that time? Can I go down to the Sage? Right now, they're not open during break, so you need to bring a snack. Keep it in your bag, your backpack, okay? Or in a locker, and you swing by and pick it up when you're going to your 4th or 8th period class. But break is tied to 4th and 8th period, okay? All right, so Mr. Weaver's going to come up. You have a mic, Mr. Weaver? Okay. Let's give it up for Mr. Weaver. Is that thing on?
Check, check. All right. Good
He's
morning.
going to tell you some things about Lead Legacy.
Yes, so I get a chance just to check in with you. So you might ask the question, especially like our freshmen, what is Lead Legacy? Why do we do that? You have to remember the mission statement for Legacy is we are committed to developing strong leaders with biblical convictions who are equipped to succeed in college and beyond. It's at the beginning of our mission statement that we would develop leaders. Now, we do that a bunch of different ways, right? Athletics is a really important way to do that. But we need a program that intentionally does that. And so the way that we're doing that is Lead Legacy, and that's going to take two different forms this year. The first one is in teams. We have 5 service teams. We have 5 committees that drive the culture of our school. They are planning and executing all these really important things around campus. The other part of that is there is a little bit of curriculum this year, and I'm really excited. I've been working on developing that because some of it is experiential. You're getting that in a team, whether you're leading that team, whether you're serving on that team, you're delegating and you're handling successes and failures and everything else. But some of it is just skills and knowledge that you need, knowing yourself better, your strengths and weaknesses. And so there's curriculum that does that, and it's primarily through Schoology, but it's engaging things. It's interviews. It's little projects. It's all doable stuff. It's a pass-fail credit, but you get a leadership credit on your transcript for doing that. And you get a quarter credit there. You do Lead Legacy all the way through. You have a full credit of leadership on your transcript, right? So that's the incredible thing there. I want to introduce you to some very important people that are going to be heading up those teams that we're going to be forming and that are going to be doing a lot of stuff here on campus. So I need you to stand up when I call your name and stay standing. I want you to meet these people. So the co-chairs for our community team are Avery Bradford and Ronan Beck. Stand up. Awesome. Yeah, clap for them because they did. Yep, stay there. All right, the co-chairs for our service team, Claire Russo and Tyler Heaton. Awesome. The co-chair for special events team is Sydney York and Madeline Kissling. For our spiritual formation team, that's Landry Amer and Jackson Redmond. And on our communications team is Livia Martinez and Gabe Goodwin. Okay, so stay standing, okay? So here's the deal. These people are going to be leading teams. They have some faculty sponsors to help them. They're going to be leading teams on campus this year. Special events is having things to do with homecoming, right? Spiritual formations is looking at Revive Week and just the spiritual state of our students. What can we do to support and encourage that here on campus? Service. We have a ton of really important things that we're getting to do, and these are the guys who are heading up those teams. They need your help throughout the year. Now, it is a commitment. It's a voluntary program. So this is important for freshmen, sophomores, new students to understand. It's a voluntary program. You choose to do that. You choose to serve on one of these teams. But if you choose to serve on one of these teams, you're going to be on the team, right? If you're not on the team, then you're not on the team. There's a credit tied to that. Credit tied to this. So if you're in the program, you're doing the coursework in Schoology, and it's not super difficult. But look for these people. Ask them questions about their team, what they're doing, their ideas, and how you can help them serve this year. Sound good? All right, you guys can go ahead and sit down. Thank you so much. The last thing I need to tell you is we want to know who we have, who's on board. If you're interested, we're going to be sending out Ms. Crawford's going to be sending out a survey by Google form that'll come to your email, and that's your opportunity to respond to us and let us know. Hey, I was in Lead Legacy last year. I want to keep doing it this year. Here's the teams, the 1 or 2 teams I'm interested in serving on, and so we have an idea of how to plan out our space and meeting spaces, and we can get going on all those things really quickly. So be looking for that form to come to your email. Sound good? Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Mosley.
I do hope you'll choose to be a part. It is a commitment. It is a great thing for colleges to see that you're committing to something and following through. It's not the volume of things that you do that makes you attractive as a potential student. It's the commitment that you make. They don't want somebody who just pads a resume full of just stuff. But what are you passionate about? What do you commit your time and energy to? Do you have a purpose in your life? Okay, so that's what they want to see. And Lead Legacy is a great way to do that, right? It does require a commitment, and if you don't follow through with it, then you can be removed from that organization. So you have to commit and follow through. So the password is the same as it was last year. So it is LCA student. That is the actual channel that you need to log on in terms of Wi-Fi, and the password is what you see. And that between 0, 0, that's a lowercase l. That's not a 1, okay, a lowercase l. If you don't have that, you want to make note of it, particularly our new students and freshmen. Okay, I'll talk to you a little bit about car lines. A little different this year, not by much. I want to talk about parking as well. But if you are a non-driver, even if you're a senior and you do not drive, then you must come in. Everybody needs to enter Stonebrook and then go this way around the building. And notice it also says to go around the parking lot to provide us some more space, because we back up to this light and we don't want that. So we use the maximum amount of space. We come here, and this year we drop off non-drivers right here. That's where we drop them off. You get your temperature taken, we do that. We're going to start tomorrow double queuing these lines because we backed up a little bit here. If you're a driver, you come in and you park in designated parking areas. Okay, the thing you need to remember, and my seniors are in the room, they're going to be very excited I tell you this, you may not park in senior parking. Isn't that right, seniors? How long? Yeah, I know it, yes. Don't do it. Don't you do it. I'm going to defend my seniors now. They've waited a long time, haven't you? Yeah, I know you have. Okay, so this is senior parking. Around the gym is senior parking. Just gym, bad if you're not a senior. Great if you're a senior, right? So that's their area right there. Now, other areas you park, underclassmen may park here. They can park along Fighting Eagles Drive. And then very rarely do we have anyone park over here and have to walk through. Sometimes we have a big sophomore class and they start driving, those poor little guys. They have to park there and walk through. No, it's not that big a deal. It's just raining, and we try to help them out, okay? So this is very important. Please be safe when you're driving. Driving, again, is a privilege on a rare occasion, but it has happened. I have pulled driving privileges from students who speed, who don't follow instructions. I'll pull your permit and you will have to be dropped off. Again, what's my rule? I'll trust you until what? Until you give me a reason not to. All right? And then you'll have to earn the trust back. Okay? So, hope you make note of that. Some reminders. Cell phones still have to be off when you're entering the building. Can't be on. No iPods except during study hall or with permission of your teacher. You are not allowed. Ladies with that beautiful hair you have, hiding that little iPod thing, those little earpods in your ears, and you're listening to music as you're walking down the hall. That's not cool. Don't do that. Okay, reason why? You say, Mr. Mosley, why do you do that? Because I want you to talk to people. I want you to look them in the eye and say hi. I want you to have a conversation. I want you to develop those life skills. I don't want you to be all into yourself. You can do that you've been doing that for 5 months. Get over it. Say hi, talk to somebody. Okay? That's the reason why. You must have mask, and you have to follow the rules. What are the rules for mask? Very simple. Any color you want, mix of colors is fine. Have LCA stuff on it. You can also wear collar, your favorite college team. That's fine. But you're not allowed to have other things. You know, we're not going to make political statements. We're not going to, promote your favorite rapper or artist or actor or what. We're not doing those things, okay? You must follow these guidelines. They're pretty liberal in terms of, allowing you to wear different colors and things. They're not making them have to be green and gold and black. We do have some spirit things in the shop there that you can buy if you want them, but those are guidelines. Learning Commons is off limits this year. There's a class in there. We've spread classes all over the place. Learning Commons is a class. You wouldn't go into Mr. Littleton's class for study hall. You're not going into Learning Commons for study hall. The only reason you should go in there is if you're working in the one-button studio and you're working with Mr. McCullum, who's now overseeing that area, okay, to use some of the tech that's in there. Don't park in senior or staff parking. Do not prop the doors open. That's a safety hazard. We have cameras on that. If you prop the door open, we're going to find out who did it. It is a discipline issue. You're putting everyone's safety at risk. Okay? Don't do it. Do not open the doors for anyone. Not a friend. Faculty all have badges. They can get in. You may not open a door for anyone at any time. Okay? That's non-negotiable. If someone's on campus they're not supposed to be, we're going to find out how they got in. We have cameras all over this place. And we'll know who let them in, and that is a disciplinary. You will be referred to the dean's office, okay? That's a safety hazard. Leave backpacks in the room when going. No car drop-off in the street or the front door. Please do not let your parents drop you off on the front door or say, I don't want to be in the line and wait for 5 minutes. Just hop out. You got to get out here. You say, Mom, I can't. You can't. It's not safe, okay? Don't do that. And our administrators, we're going to pull you aside and we're going to say, you can't do that. Okay? So don't do it. 9th and 10th, you will exit. Not everybody, normally we exit and everybody goes out the commons door. We're not doing that this year. The door you came in is the door you walk out. So if you're a 9th or 10th grader or non-driver, you walk out by the science hall. Okay? If you drove to campus, you can walk out through the commons. And that's just for spacing and to maintain distance, all right? You must report your absences. Even if you are home in flex, let's say you get contact traced and you have to be home for 2 weeks. You're logging in, you're responsible for checking your work, you're doing that work, you're watching the videos, you're engaging the material, you're working from home, okay? But one day you just get sick. You are not well enough to log on and do your work. Or you're a non-campus student and you're home, you've got a big migraine and you're home today. You must report that absence. Because if you don't show up on that absence list, we're not going to give you extra time to complete your assignment. It's not going to happen. Okay? So if you just don't show up today or you don't engage and do your work, you're going to get late penalties and eventually a 0. Okay? Meet your deadlines. You can fail a class during the pandemic. It can happen. It did happen. You must do your work. Okay? You have to do it. You got to turn it in on time. We are giving grades. It's not pass fail. You must engage. It's your responsibility. Okay? If you get stressed or you're struggling in any way, and the stress levels are up over 300% on adults and even higher with teenagers. We are here for you. You do not have to walk that alone. Go see Ms. Snyder. Talk to a teacher you trust. There are people here who care. And we want to help. If things are going bad at home, stress is terrible at home right now for everybody. It's okay to talk to someone. You need to talk to someone. I need to talk to someone. I've got people, colleagues here that, man, I could sit down and just tell them anything. They'd pray for me right like that. I had a former student, I have a senior that graduated last night, forwarded me a prayer. And I can't tell you what it meant to me. It meant a lot for them to say, Mr. Mosley, I'm thinking about you. God put you on my heart today. So they video a video and send it to my cell phone. And they're about to leave to go to college, and they took time to say, tell the students I'm praying for them. You got this. God has got everything, even coronavirus, in the palm of his very hand. And I'm praying for you, and God is going before you. We all need that. And it's okay if you need help. We all need it, okay? Oops, wrong place. Some announcements. All study halls in the lunch commons we did. All Eterno classes today. If you're enrolled in an Eterno class, an online class with Eterno University, you need to meet Miss Hannah in the commons during your class period today. Do not, tomorrow? Today and tomorrow, yes, so you can hit both sides of the class, okay? If you have a schedule change, you've put in a schedule change request. We are processing those as quickly as we can. Miss Hannah and her team are working hard on that. We will contact you when that change has been processed. Until then, you follow what? Your current schedule. Keep going. I'm not going to be in this class. Well, you hope not, but you don't know for sure. Keep following the schedule. We will contact you. Check Schoology and email often. Do not procrastinate. Follow the protocol so we can keep doing this, okay? If you move to Flex, you better have a plan. You have to get up and check every class. If you sleep in, you're going to miss it. Flex students do not get extra time on assignments. Your assignments are due like everybody else. You'll take tests like everybody else. All right? So take personal responsibility for your learning and learn to ask questions and advocate for yourself. We got to cherish our time together, folks. We got to make the most of the moments. I hope we get to do this all year and we're together, but more than likely, we're going to end up in distance learning at some point. We're expecting it. It's going to be okay. All right? It's going to be okay. All right. I am done. Whew, we made it through it. I appreciate you. Good to see you again. Now we're going to move to your second period class, seniors. And those of you in class, you may begin. Thank you.